Hi class, I just want to remind you the diet projects are due next week, and to receive a pass you have to make sure you do all the parts correctly.
I haven't even started my diet project yet, and it's due next week.
Don't worry, check out this awesome diet project tutorial.
Let's get started. To complete your diet project, you will need the following tools: your Nut 10 workbook, a calculator, and something to write with, since we will only accept handwritten projects. You'll also need something to eat. The first thing you want to do is to complete your food record forms. For this project, you will need to record your diet for 3 consecutive days, including 1 weekend day. So you can either choose a Thursday, Friday, Saturday sequence or a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday sequence. You can find the nutrition information for all of these food items in the back of your workbook, starting at page 312. If you cannot find a food item, you may refer to the USDA website. But whatever you do, do not use food labels. Food labels are missing a lot of nutrition information you need, so if you use food labels, you will receive a no pass. Now let's go over an example. Suppose you had milk and cookies for a snack. The first thing you want to do is to write those food items onto your food record form. Let's say you had 1 cup of 2% milk. First, write 1C in the amount column. Don't forget units. Next, go ahead and find the nutrition information in the back of your book and then transfer all the values onto your food record form. Now for the cookies, you can do the same thing, starting with the amount. Let's say you ate 2 cookies. For units, you can just write PC for pieces. Since you had 2 cookies, remember to multiply all of the nutrition information by 2. Let's say you cooked a chicken fajita at home and can't find that item in the back of your book or the USDA website. All you have to do is break that food item up into its different components and record the nutrition information for each component individually. After you finish recording all the nutrition information for the foods you ate, go ahead and add up all of the nutrients, writing the totals on the last column of your food record form. Now, let's fill out your summary and comparison forms. The first thing you want to do for the summary form is to transfer the 3 sets of totals from your food record forms onto the summary form. Next, add the totals, then divide by 3 to get your average daily intake of each nutrient. Transfer all the values on the average daily intake row on your summary form down to the average daily intake row on your comparison form. This process is a little different for your total fat and saturated fat, since you'll have to calculate your average daily intake of these nutrients as a percent of your total calories. You'll get these numbers from your calculations page. We'll go over that in a minute. After you've transferred all of your averages, the next thing you have to do is fill out your standards for the specified nutrients. You can find these values on pages 292 to 293 in your workbook. So, if you're a 20-year-old male, you will fill in 900 for vitamin A, 90 for vitamin C, 1.2 for thiamine, and so on and so forth. To finish up the comparison form, all you have left is to divide your average daily intake by your standard and multiply by 100 to get a percent. Let's move on to the calculations page. First, complete step 1, calculating your basal metabolic rate. Next, calculate your daily energy requirement on step 2. For this step, you will need to know your activity level. Most students have an activity level of sedentary, or 0.30, or light activity, 0.50. That's because they're mostly sitting down in class or studying. If you're an athlete who exercises intensely for 3 hours a day, you would have moderate activity and put 0.70. Remember to transfer E onto your comparison form. Now, complete step 3, calculating your daily protein requirement. Don't forget to transfer F onto your comparison form. When calculating your energy intake distribution for step 4, transfer A1, B1, and C1 from your summary form onto the calculations page and multiply straight through. You get A2, B2, and C2. Add the totals up to get D2. Next, calculate your percent energy distribution on step 5 by transferring A2, B2, and C2 and dividing it by D2, and then multiply by 100 to get A3, B3, and C3. Remember to transfer C3 onto your comparison form. Now, calculate your percent kcals as saturated fat on step 6. First, transfer D1 from your summary form and then multiply by 9 kilocals per gram. Next, divide by D2 and then multiply by 100 to get D3. Don't forget to transfer D3 onto your comparison form. And now you're done with the calculations page. Back on the comparison form, complete the intake as a percentage standard for E, F, C3, and D3. Don't let the percentage signs on C3 and D3 throw you off. Just calculate as you would for the rest of the nutrients. Don't forget to circle your values that are less than 100%. Now let's go over the MyPlate daily checklist. First, transfer your food intake from one of the weekdays you recorded into the center column listed Write your food choices for each food group, being aware of each food group your food choices belong to. Next, record the amount of each food and beverage in measurements that correspond to cups or ounce equivalents for each food group. For combination foods that fit into multiple food groups, be sure to list the ingredients into their appropriate food groups. Since you ate chicken fajitas for lunch, you would transfer the red bell peppers into the vegetable group, the tortillas into the grain group, and the chicken into the protein group. Note the total number of servings in each food group and ask yourself if you've reached your target number. Then circle Y for yes and N for no. Next, record the amount and type of physical activity you did for that day. Finally, identify 2 small changes you can make to improve your diet and increase your physical activity level. The more specific the example, the better.
Okay, class, it's time to turn in your diet projects.